Today we're talking about the famous McDonald's hot coffee case. I'm Natalie Gerry, the principal lawyer and founder with Gerry Law. I help injured people get the compensation they deserve for their injuries. This is a very famous case. The facts go back to 1992 when a 79-year-old woman in Albuquerque, New Mexico became part of one of the most famous personal injury lawsuits in American history. She ordered a cup of coffee at a McDonald's drive-thru, and when she accidentally spilled it onto her lap, she suffered severe burns. So let's talk about the incident that led to her injuries. The woman was sitting in the passenger seat of a parked car when the incident happened. As she took the lid off the cup, the coffee tipped over and spilled onto her lap. The coffee, which was at a dangerously high temperature, caused serious third-degree burns to her thighs. The woman was wearing sweatpants, which soaked up the coffee and made the burns even worse. She needed several skin grafts to treat the injury. Let's look at McDonald's role here. So the high temperature of the coffee was set by McDonald's company policy, and this became a key fact. At the time, the coffee was kept around 190 degrees Fahrenheit or 88 degrees Celsius, which is a temperature that could cause severe burns in just seconds. McDonald's had already received over 700 reports of injuries related to the temperature of their coffee, but they had not taken any action to address the problem. So this was another key fact about finding liability. In terms of the legal action, so the woman sought compensation through a personal injury action for her medical bills. So she was looking just for compensation for the medical bills that she incurred. And initially she offered to settle for $20,000. So this was to cover, I guess, medical bills and perhaps also some pain and suffering. McDonald's, however, only offered $800. The case went to trial, and the jury awarded the woman nearly $3 million in punitive damages for her pain and suffering. So this is an interesting case because it is a large award, and a lot of people see this as out of step with the injury. So this is the public reaction. The case gained national attention, and the woman became the face of what people believed was an example of a frivolous lawsuit. So critics argued that the $3 million award was excessive, and the case was often cited of an example of what some people saw as the problem with the American justice system. So the public sort of took the position of the insurance companies, and perhaps the insurance companies helped this with media coverage to say that this was an example of a frivolous personal injury lawsuit, and arguing like she was barely injured when the fact was she sustained very serious injuries. What wasn't reported? So in looking at what a lot of people didn't know about this case is that the original judgment was later reduced by more than 80%. The two parties then reached a confidential settlement, and the final amount was far less than the original award. This part of the case didn't make as much news, and the focus stayed on the large initial settlement. So the McDonald's hot coffee case shows how complex personal injury lawsuits can be, and while the public often focuses on the large settlement figures, the real facts of the case reveal important details about corporate responsibility and the impact of dangerous practices. This case can be a reminder that what we see in the media doesn't always tell the full story. And especially here where there may be a strong insurance lobby trying to have this case seem ridiculous so that people get kind of fed up with personal injury and that kind of ambulance chasing that they've tried to label personal injury lawyers with to try to deter people from bringing legitimate actions and to try to make it so that people are less likely to sue because they're seeing this as something that is frowned upon, and if they're not extremely seriously injured, they shouldn't be bringing their action. And the fact is here that the woman was very injured. So that's something to keep in mind. The media doesn't always tell the full story of a lawsuit.